Welcome, everyone, and hold on to your seats because we are standing on the precipice of an absolute earthquake in the world of women's tennis. The news is just broken. The box office is officially closed, and the atmosphere is reaching a fever pitch that we have rarely seen outside of a Grand Slam final. The Cincinnati Open, right in the heart of Mason, Ohio, at the Lindner Family Tennis Center, is about to host a third-round match that has completely hijacked the narrative of the entire tournament. 11,000 tickets. Gone. Sold out in the blink of an eye. The stadium is packed to the rafters, and the crowd is absolutely ready to erupt. We are talking about an impending explosion of energy, passion, and elite athleticism. The matchup? The 21-year-old rising global superstar from the Philippines, Alexandra Eala, going toe-to-toe for the very first time with a formidable 24-year-old American powerhouse, Amanda Anisimova. This is not just a tennis match anymore, folks. This has evolved into a cultural event, a clash of contrasting styles, a battle for hard-court supremacy, and quite frankly, one of the most anticipated showdowns of the entire 2026 WTA season. The sheer magnitude of this encounter cannot be overstated. When you have a massive, passionate fan base colliding with a high-stakes, prime-time clash between two of the most electrifying players on the planet, you get a recipe for absolute magic. Let us set the scene. Mason, Ohio, usually a relatively quiet Midwestern hub, has been completely transformed. The grounds are buzzing. The practice courts are lined 10 rows deep. The merchandise tents are overwhelmed. Why? Because Alexandra Eala brings with her a legion of fans that transcends typical tennis support. We are talking about a vocal, passionate, flag-waving Filipino fan base that has revolutionized the atmosphere at tennis tournaments around the world. They bring the energy of a massive football derby to the refined surroundings of a tennis stadium. And waiting for her is the American hometown favorite, the world number 10, Amanda Anisimova, who thrives on high-stakes tennis and has openly stated she is ready for the noise. This is the perfect storm. You have an unstoppable force meeting an immovable object in front of a sold-out crowd of 11,000 screaming fans. The anticipation is palpable. You can feel the electricity radiating through the concrete of the stadium. It is a moment where the world of sports stops and pays attention. We are looking at a pivotal moment in both of these athletes' careers, a match that will be dissected, analyzed, and talked about for years to come. The stakes? A coveted spot in the round of 16 at one of the most prestigious WTA 1000 events on the calendar, carrying massive momentum straight into final Grand Slam of the year in New York. But beyond the ranking points, beyond the prize money, this is about pride. This is about making a statement on one of the biggest stages in the sport. So, how did we get here? How did this specific third-round matchup become the hottest ticket in town, dwarfing almost everything else happening on the tour right now? To understand the gravity of this impending explosion, we have to take a deep, comprehensive dive into the incredible journeys of both women, the tactical warfare that is about to unfold on the fast, hard courts of Cincinnati, and the immense psychological battle that will ultimately decide who walks off that court as the victor. Let us break it down. We begin our analysis with the absolute phenomenon that is Alexandra Eala. If you have been following women's tennis, even casually this summer, you know that this 21-year-old left-hander has been the definitive story of the hard-court swing. We are witnessing the evolution of prodigious talent into a certified, top-tier superstar right before our very eyes. Eala is currently sitting at a career-high projected ranking inside the top 20, but numbers alone do not tell the story of the devastation she has left in her wake. Just 2 weeks ago, at the D.C. Open in Washington, Eala did the unthinkable. She did not just win her maiden WTA Tour crown. She carved a path of destruction through a draw loaded with major champions and top 10 stalwarts. We watched her systematically dismantle defending champion Leylah Fernandez. We watched her stun former world number 1 Naomi Osaka. And then, in the biggest final of her life, she completely outclassed the world number 3, Jessica Pegula, to take the title. That run in Washington was not a flash in the pan. It was a declaration of arrival. What makes Eala so incredibly difficult to play against right now is her unique combination of court geometry, elite movement, and a startling level of tactical maturity for someone who is just 21 years old. Being left-handed gives her an immediate, built-in advantage, allowing her to find angles that simply do not exist for right-handed players. Her heavy, Spinning forehand naturally attacks the weaker backhand side of most right-handed opponents. But Eala has layered so much more onto her game. She is a master of absorbing pace. The harder you hit the ball at her, the more she uses your own velocity against you, redirecting the ball down the lines with devastating precision. In her opening rounds here in Cincinnati, she has looked just as sharp, most recently advancing past Elena Gabriela Ruse, who had to retire due to a foot injury after Eala decisively took the first set 6-1 and raced to a 3-0 lead in the second. She is fresh, she is confident, and she has played with the freedom of a young athlete who truly believes that she belongs at the very top of the sport. But perhaps the most significant weapon Eala brings to the court is not in her racket bag. It is the weight of an entire nation. The Filipino community's support for Eala is unprecedented in tennis history. They have turned her matches into raucous, celebratory events. Every point she wins is greeted with a roar. Every unforced error by an opponent is met with roaring approval. This kind of crowd support can lift a player to superhuman heights, creating an intimidating, suffocating environment for anyone standing on the other side of the net. And standing on the other side of the net is a player who knows a thing or two about power, expectations, and high-pressure environments. Amanda Anisimova is not just any opponent. At 24 years old and standing nearly 5'11", the American world number 10 is one of the most fearsome ball strikers the women's game has ever seen. Anisimova is a 4-time WTA titleist, a former teenage prodigy who reached the semifinals of the French Open at just 17, and someone who has consistently proven she can mix it up with the absolute elite, reaching the finals of both the U.S. Open and Wimbledon just last year, and capturing massive WTA 1000 titles in Qatar and China. Anisimova plays a brand of first-strike, hyper-aggressive tennis that is designed to take the racket out of her opponent's hands. She stands right on the baseline, takes the ball exceptionally early on the rise, and hits incredibly flat, penetrating ground strokes off both wings. Her two-handed backhand, in particular, is a thing of absolute beauty and destruction. A shot she can hit with blistering pace cross-court or down the line with zero warning. In her second-round match here against Zeynep Samez, Anisimova was dialed in, navigating through rain delays to secure a commanding 6-2, 6-3 victory. She noted after the match that she felt completely in the flow, serving brilliantly and dictating the tempo from the very first ball. This brings us to the tactical deep dive of this extraordinary matchup. This is a classic stylistic contrast that tennis purists dream about. On one side, you have Anisimova, the right-handed aggressor, looking to shorten points, hit through the court, and force the issue with raw power. On the other side, you have Eala, the left-handed tactician, looking to extend rallies, change the height and spin of the ball, and use her defensive prowess to frustrate the American into overhitting. The defining battleground of this match will be cross-court exchanges between Eala's heavy left-handed forehand and Anisimova's lethal right-handed backhand. Normally, a lefty's forehand cross-court is a nightmare for a right-handed player, as it kicks high up above the shoulder into the backhand. However, Anisimova has one of the best backhands in the business for dealing with high balls. She does not slice it back. She steps into the court, gets her weight forward, and drives right through the spin. Eala will have to be incredibly careful with her depth. If Eala's forehand lands short in the service box, Anisimova will step in and hit a clean winner. Eala must keep the ball deep, pinning Anisimova behind the baseline, forcing the American to generate her own pace from difficult defensive positions. Furthermore, we have to look at the serve and return dynamic. The fast courts at the Linder Family Tennis Center generally favor the big server, which gives a slight edge to Anisimova on paper. Anisimova's first serve is a massive weapon, often clocking well over 110 miles per hour. She will look to land a high percentage of first serves to get immediate short balls that she can put away. Eala's return game, however, has improved exponentially. She has developed a highly effective block return, using her quick hands to parry big serves deep down the middle of the court, neutralizing the server's advantage and instantly resetting the point to a neutral baseline rally. Eala's own serve will be heavily tested. As a lefty, she will look to utilize the slice serve out wide on the ad court, pulling Anisimova off the doubles alley to open up the rest of the court. But if Anisimova reads that serve early, her sheer reach and power allow her to crush returns down the line. Eala will have to mix her spots meticulously, using the kick serve down the tee on the ad side and jamming Anisimova into the body on the deuce side to prevent the American from taking full, aggressive swings on the return. Then, there is the psychological component, which might just be the deciding factor in this entire contest. Let's talk about this crowd again. 11,000 people. Sold out. The atmosphere is going to be incredibly tense, deafeningly loud, and wildly partisan. Despite being in the United States, Anisimova might find herself feeling like she is playing an away tie in the Billie Jean King Cup. The Eala fans are organized, they are vocal, and they do not stop. For a player like Anisimova, who relies heavily on timing and rhythm, navigating through the sheer wall of noise between first and second serves can be incredibly disruptive. To her immense credit, Anisimova has acknowledged the looming atmosphere. She has publicly stated that she expects a packed stadium, noting that Eala has an incredible year and a massive fan base. And remarkably, Anisimova said she is really looking forward to it, calling a fun challenge. That takes a champion's mindset. But saying it in a press conference and living on the court when you're down break point in the second set and 10,000 people are screaming against you are two entirely different things. Anisimova will need to exhibit extreme tunnel vision. She has to shrink the court, focus entirely on the yellow ball, and block out the peripheral chaos. If she starts letting the crowd dictate her emotional state, if she starts rushing her service motion or going for low percentage shots out of frustration, Eala will absolutely feast on those errors. Heavy.com. On the flip side, Eala has to manage the pressure of being the phenomenon. It is one thing to play the role of the underdog rising up the ranks. It is another to walk onto a stadium court expected to win by thousands of traveling fans. The pressure on Eala's shoulders to deliver is monumental. She has shown incredible poise in Washington, closing out major champions under pressure, but this is a new scenario. She is facing a top 10 player who possesses the literal firepower to hit her completely off the court if she is not physically and mentally at 100%. Eala has to ride the wave of the crowd's energy without letting it make her over-anxious. She needs to stick to her tactical blueprint. Heavy spin, deep targets, high first serve percentage, and relentless defense. As we look at the physical toll of the tournament, the weather in Cincinnati has been a factor, with rain delays interrupting schedules and making the court slightly heavier in the evenings. A heavier, more humid night session would slightly favor Eala, slowing down Anisimova's flat drives and giving the Filipina an extra fraction of a second to track down balls. Conversely, a blazing hot, sunny day session makes the hard courts play lightning fast, turning Anisimova's ground strokes into absolute missiles that are nearly impossible to defend. The environmental conditions will play a subtle but vital role in how these two tactical plans unfold. This is what makes tennis the ultimate gladiatorial sport. There is no coaching timeout to save you, no teammate to pass the ball to when you are struggling. It is just you, your opponent, and your problem-solving skills inside a rectangle, surrounded by 11,000 screaming fans. This match between Alexandra Eala and Amanda Anisimova represents a fascinating crossroads in women's tennis. It is a battle between an established, heavy-hitting superstar looking to solidify her dominance and a brilliant tactical prodigy backed by an entire nation looking to crash the absolute elite echelon of the sport. As we prepare for the players to walk down that tunnel and step onto the court, the anticipation is simply overwhelming. The ticket scalpers are out in full force. Social media is trending worldwide, and the tennis community is holding its collective breath. Can Eala's magical summer continue? Can she absorb the sheer, terrifying power of Anisimova's baseline game and weave her left-handed magic? Or will the American world number 10 silence the roaring crowd, assert her authority, and blast her way into the round of 16 with the kind of ruthless, first-strike tennis that has won her massive titles on this very surface? This is a matchup that promises drama, spectacular shot-making, an atmosphere that will rattle the television cameras. It is a testament to the incredible depth and global appeal of the WTA Tour right now. You do not want to miss a single second of this absolute blockbuster. As we wrap up this deep dive, I want to turn it over to all of you watching. This is a match that has divided analysts and fans alike. Who do you have taking this titanic clash? Do you think the deafening support of the 11,000 fans will push Alex Eala to another historic victory, cementing her status as the most dangerous giant killer on the tour? Or do you believe that Amanda Anisimova's elite pedigree, her raw power, and her aggressive mindset will simply be too much for the 21-year-old to handle on a fast hard court? Head down to the comments section right now and drop your predictions. Give me your score lines. Give me your tactical keys to the match, and let us get a massive debate going. This match is guaranteed to produce fireworks, and whatever the outcome, the landscape of the Cincinnati Open and the trajectory toward the U.S. Open will be fundamentally altered. Thank you so much for joining me for this comprehensive breakdown. If you enjoyed this level of detailed analysis, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our deep dives into the biggest stories in the sporting world. We will be watching this match incredibly closely, and we will be right back here to break down all the fallout, the highlights, and the implications the moment the final ball is struck. Until then, strap in, get ready for an explosion of world-class tennis, and enjoy the absolute spectacle that is Eala versus Anisimova.